Periphery, one of the big four bands, in my opinion, who have kind of brought Djent into the more mainstream guitar ethos. And I got a request from none other than Sir Mico Ong, thank you for your comment, on how to get the Periphery Djent guitar tone. And in a later video, I am going to compare why a Djent guitar tone and an old school metal guitar tone are not the exact same thing, and why the mentality is a little bit different. So for starters, we have to do our research. With Djent guys in general, the way how they make their guitar tones is that you have a sort of crunchy amp. It all starts with an amp. You have to dial in the gain just right. Doesn't have that flubbiness to it.
See, that's too much.
And you have to kind of take down the bass, and then everything else is kind of to taste. Another important thing is that you have to turn down the master volume so you don't get as much of that master tube compression, and then you have to turn up the actual gain until you reach that point. According to Misha Mansoor, you want to get away with as little gain as possible.
I've noticed that a lot of people are very tempted to use as much gain as possible. I found the trick is to use as little as you can get away with.
Especially in the amp stage. The reason why is because we will be boosting the hell out of it.
What a lot of people don't necessarily realize is that their favorite metal tones, combination of a boost, a drive, overdrive of some sort in front of a high gain amp.
Majority of the time throughout the years, this has been the Ibanez TS-808. It cuts out the low end of your guitar going into the amp. That way you have a tighter guitar tone. Tight, yeah. It does help in boosting the amp so that you have that really saturated but still not too much gain sound. It's a really fine balance. For this video, I wanted to try something a little bit different because I got a few comments before how, oh, you're using a Line 6 Helix. Maybe if I have what you have, all of my problems will be solved. I want to repeat this. Gear isn't everything. It's the understanding of what everything is doing before you try to replicate it. That is why I do my research first, try and copy all of the different components and see what each one does. It's not enough that you have a tube screamer in front of a dirty guitar amp. You have to understand why the tube screamer is there and what is it meant to do. Typical tube screamer settings for Djent, you're going to have the tone or the volume all the way up and the gain all the way down. It's a typical tube screamer boost setting. I've set up two separate guitar tones using the same guitar performance, of course. One is using entirely free, and I repeat, free guitar plugins. And the other one is using Helix Native. We're going to be using my GOC Satya, which has Toshiba Bassy Fluence pickups. For the free set of plugins, this is what I have gathered. Audiority Doctor Drive, it's the Horizon Devices Precision Drive, essentially. Next, I'm going to be using the Nolix Amplex using the 2120 Rhythm Crunch Bright. And as you can see, the gain is really low. I don't think this entire section of this amp in particular works, but you can select different amp models to your heart's content. We are going into the Mico ML Sound Labs IR Maker. I don't know, it's supposed to emulate like a speaker and you can put the mics around or anything, whatever. And in the other corner, we have pretty much the exact same thing. We have the Horizon Drive, which is the Precision Drive by Horizon Devices. The Horizon Gate, again, a gate. German Ubersonic, which is supposed to be Line 6's model of a Bogner Uberschall, if I remember correctly. Now let's listen to these two guitar tones side by side. Again, listen with headphones, and you tell me which one you like better. But this is how to get a basic Djent guitar tone. A lot of bands deviate from this or have their own version of this. Bring Me the Horizon, for example, uses Marshall JCM 800s with a clon in front of it, but the recipe is somewhat still the same. Tweak to your heart's content, do your research, and happy Djenting.
Bye.